Hey, what's up guys? So at the time of making this video, the jackpot for the Powerball lottery is at like $1.4 billion. And they're saying the odds for winning that are 1 in 292 million. But how do those odds work? So for fun, I actually went through and calculated the odds for winning that jackpot. But there are also 8 other ways to win a prize, and I went through and calculated those out as well. So I thought it'd be kind of a cool video to show you the statistics of how to calculate the odds for the Powerball lottery. So let's go to the whiteboard and I'll show you how it all works. Okay, so before we get started, I just want to explain how the game is actually played. Essentially what we have here is 2 separate drawings. One is with 69 balls where they pick 5 out. The other is with 26 balls where they only pick 1 out. So, and one thing to keep in mind is that they do change this time to time, but this is the way they're currently doing it at the time of making this video. So obviously the grand prize or the jackpot is if you choose correctly these 5 numbers and this number. It doesn't matter which order they draw them in. So, you know, if on your ticket you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then just say 1 over there, and they drew 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then 1, you would have a winning ticket. So that's important to keep in mind, is that the order doesn't matter. So why don't we start off by calculating what the odds are if you do correctly choose all 6 of these numbers. Okay, so the jackpot is the one that everybody always talks about. That's the one you win the most money with. But the funny thing is it's the easiest one to calculate the odds for. And really what we're talking about here is number of combinations, because your ticket is one unique combination of the total number of combinations these balls can be in. So let's just walk through it a little bit. If we were to pick 1 ball out of this bin here, we would have a total number of combinations of 69. We're not going to put that ball back, so the next ball we pick out is going to have a total number of combinations of 68. And we just multiply these up together to get the total number of combinations. And we just work through it: 67, 66, 65. And that is the total number of combinations that these balls can be in. But there's one thing we need to watch out for, and that is that the numbers can be in different orders, and that could actually be repeats, right? So like, you know, I already talked about that. If we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's the same thing as 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So to get rid of that, we need to divide. Where's my little thing? What we need to do is divide the total number of combinations by the number of combinations that the numbers themselves can be fit into, and then we'll get a unique set of combinations that fit in only one way, so that we don't have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So if we divide this out and we pick a ball out, and you think where could it be placed? It could be in any of these 5 positions, right? So 5. Now I take the next ball, and we've already placed the first one, so it can only be in one of 4, and then we keep going down: 3, 2, 1. And this is a very important calculation here, because we're going to use this all the time. This is the total number of these unique combinations that these 5 balls can be in, and that is equal to 11,238,513. Okay, so that is the total number of unique combinations here. That takes care of the 5 balls. Now, since we also have this last ball here, that complicates things a little bit, and we now have 26 of these that could be the unique combination, right? So these are the unique combinations for this. Now we multiply that, because you could have any one of these combinations with any one of these, 1 through 26. So we just multiply that by 26 times 26, and we get the 201,338. So your odds of winning the jackpot are 1 in 292,201,338. And that's how it's done. Now let's talk about a trickier one. Okay, so this is the one where you don't get any of the white balls and you only get the red ball correct. This is actually kind of tricky because, well, you wouldn't think it at first. You'd think, oh, well, okay, you only get the red ball. That's the only thing you've got on your ticket. So you would think, well, my odds are 1 in 26. But really what's happening here is you're not just getting the red ball. You're not getting any of the white balls, and you are getting the 26. So you have to account for those odds as well, for not getting any of the white balls. And that's when things can get a little tricky here. So what we need to do is figure out what the odds are for not getting any of the white balls. And basically, if you were to look at what your odds are for getting any of the white balls, you would think, all right, 5 out of 69, right? So for not getting the white balls, you would start with 69 minus 5, which is 64. So 64 times 63 times 62, because we're doing the same thing, right? We're going through those combinations. We're working through all 5 numbers. So 64, 63, 62, 61, and 60. And now the same thing applies with the repeated combination. So we're just going to go ahead and divide that out by, again, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And let me go ahead and grab that calculation. Okay, and that's equal to 7,624,512. And now we take that and we're going to divide it out by the total number of combinations for these 5 white balls that we just calculated before by doing the 69 times 68 times 67 divided by this whole thing. And yeah, you might be thinking these are going to cancel out the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you're right, but it's okay. We'll just leave it as is and let those things cancel out. So we would take that by the 11, 238, 513. And let me do that real quick. And with this, we're going to get the total odds for the for getting the 5 wrong balls up here. So I don't need to write that one down because now I can simply take that and multiply it by the odds for getting the red ball, which are going to be 1 over 26. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply what I just did there times 1 over 26. Okay, and I get a 0.026 and then a whole bunch of stuff. But I'm just going to go ahead and divide that by, or take 1 divided by that, 1 divided by that, and that will give us our odds, which are equal to, so I just went 1 over that, and they're equal to, hopefully, yeah, I think I'm good, 1 over 38.32, okay? So not quite 1 out of 26. Your odds are actually better, right, than 1 out of 26, okay? Because actually it's a good thing. If you did get a ball, then you'd win more stuff. So anyway, that is how to get the odds for getting only 1 red ball. Okay, so things are going to start getting a little trickier as we move along here. But this next prize is when you get 1 white ball with the red ball. So now instead of calculating what it is when you get 5 wrong balls, now we're only doing 4 wrong balls with 1 right ball. So in order to do that, it's the same kind of thing as before, where we know that we've got, we need to calculate the odds of getting, you know, the one of the wrong balls out of the 69 balls. So we subtract out the 5, right? And we're going to do the 64 again, times 63, times 62, times 61, 4 balls. And then now the orientation, or the combinations within these 4 balls here, they could be in different orientations. If I grabbed one out, it could be in one of 4 places. So we're going to do 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. And that's going to give us the odds for these 4 wrong balls And then it's the same kind of thing as when we calculated the jackpot before, where we had the total combinations for the 5 balls here, and then we just simply multiplied it by 26 for that. But in this case, the right ball can be in any one of these 5 places, right? So we're just going to simply take it and multiply it by 5. And it'll take all of these wrong ball combinations, which could be mixed up in here, and this can only be in one of 5, so that's kind of what we're doing there. And we simply, and this will make a little bit more sense as we move along, especially when we get to the next one where we have 2 white balls with the red ball. So anyway, we take that, and let me go ahead and calculate that out real quick. We have 3,176,000 and 880. Okay, now we just need to do the same thing we've done before, because we do have the red ball. So we take that, multiply it by the 1/26. Oh, sorry. Before you do that, don't do that. Divide this out by our total number of combinations for the 5 white balls. 238, 513. And then we multiply by the 1/26, which I'll just do all at once here. And we get for that a 0.0108, and that goes on. We're going to go ahead and 1 over that to get our odds. 1 divided by that. And we get, the odds are 1 in, you can see that, 91.977. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so now we've got 2 white balls with 3 wrong balls with the red ball. And now things are going to start getting a little trickier. It's still not too bad. All the same principles we've been following along this whole time still apply here. So let's start off by calculating the wrong balls. It's the same kind of thing. We do the 64 times 63 times 62. And now it's only 3 balls. So then we have just 3 times 2 times 1. And then we multiply that. Before we only had 1 right ball, now we have 2. So those 2 can be in any combination within here. And it's just like before, where we grab 1 ball out, how many combinations can it be in, right? And let me just do this. How many combinations can that be in out of this? And it is 5. And then we grab the second ball, and that can be 4 now. And then, since we don't care about the order of these, we need to divide out those unique combinations, which, since it's only 2, it's pretty simple, just 2. Okay, or just to be consistent, 2 times 1. Okay, same kind of thing. And this will give us 416,640. And then, of course, we divide that out by the total number of combinations, which is 11,238,513. And then, just to do this all in one quick sweep, we'll take that, multiply it. We still have the red ball times our 1/26. Okay, now our odds are getting much lower. So we're going to have 0.00142, blah, blah, blah. We're going to take 1 over that and get our odds, which are going to be 701. So 1 in 701.33. Okay, let's move along. Okay, so the next one's easy. In fact, I didn't even erase the whiteboard here. I just changed one thing, because the next one is 3 white balls with a red ball. So the only difference is that we now are winning the red ball as well. These calculations all remain the same, because that only has to do with this drawing here. The only difference is, can you guess? It's going to be that we change this from 25 now to 1/26, because we do want the red ball there. So this will change here, and this will change here. And let me go ahead and grab that for you. Okay, so now we're getting really low odds here. So now this is 0.00006 8, and 9999, that goes on. So let me go ahead and grab 1 divided by that. And now our odds are 1 in 14,494.11. Okay, and that's it. Let's move on. Okay, next one is 4 right balls, 1 wrong ball with the wrong red ball. So, same kind of thing as before, where we're going to go ahead and, well, we can calculate the wrong ball quite easily by just going 64 times. Now we're going to have actually more right balls than wrong balls, and this will be 5 times 4 times 3 times 2. We have 4 now, divided by the combinations within those balls, and since they have 4 places, we have 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, and let me calculate that. Okay, it's a pretty small number here, 320. And we're going to go ahead and divide that by our 11,238,513. And we'll go ahead, and we don't have the red ball, so we'll multiply that by 25 over 26. This is going to be a tiny number here. Okay, so now we're at 0.000027338, and we're just going to go ahead and 1 over that to get our odds. And the odds are 1 in 36,525.17. Okay, check that. Yep, we're good. Let's move on. Okay, so the next one's going to be pretty easy too. We now have 4 white balls with the red ball. So that's the only change, is now we have the red ball. I left all the same calculations up here, and again, the only thing that's going to change is that we're now multiplying by 1 over 26 because we have the red ball, and this will change. That number is only going to get smaller, and let's see how this works. Okay, so now we're dealing with 0.000001095. We'll take 1 over that, and we get 1 in 913,129, and yeah, point. Let me see where I lost my place. 18. Okay, so we're almost at 1 million. So let's keep moving on. Okay, so this is the last one before the jackpot, and this is kind of a cool one to do because now we don't have any wrong white balls. So it's the same thing as before, except now we don't have any wrong balls, so we start off with 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 now, all 5, and then we don't care about position, and we divide those out by 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, and then you look at it and you're like, well, okay, that's just going to divide out by 1. And then we were, just like we were doing before, we divide this whole thing now by the total number of combinations, which is 11,238,513. And then of course we don't want the red ball here, so we multiply by 25 over 26. And let's see what we get. Okay, so this number is very low. This is going to be 0.0000008.5 and 856, and it keeps going. Let's just do 1 over that and see what we get. Okay, so our odds here of getting this are 1 in 11,688 and 53.52. Okay, so it's kind of amazing what just happened. We just went from a calculation of just just one ball really, and it jumped all the way up to 11 million. So the next one in line would be to add the red ball, and that of course is the full jackpot, which is 292 million, right? So huge jump with just the extra ball there. And that's all of the calculations for the 9 ways to win the Powerball lottery. So that's it. Thanks for watching.